Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to an episode of DREADLOCks. I'm Gunther the Great, and today we're just going to be doing an update on Lil Pump's dreadlocks. There's something that is different and I'm noticing a little bit more. I've talked about this on other videos about Lil Pump, but I feel like this is getting out of hand, and let's just talk about it in today's video. So if you guys don't know, Lil Pump has actually cut his dreadlocks and reinstalled them. Let's see if you can tell in this picture. One thing that you will notice, you can see the interlocks in some of his dreadlocks. You can see him right beside his ear that there's some interlocking. We are gonna figure out if Lil Pump has real or fake dreadlocks. I've done multiple videos on Lil Pump. A lot of people are fans of Lil Pump. People like watching videos about him, and one of his main attractions are his dreadlocks. Is that he probably has been doing this for a while, cutting his dreads, maintaining the length, and then installing them if he wants them to be longer, and then cutting them again. It's kind of just a whole process. And here is a newer video to where you can see that his hair is all the way down to his chin, and I mean, honestly, like, he has extensions in his hair. There's no way to disprove that his hair is actually longer now, because in his story, someone actually sent me a clip of his story of him holding a cut dreadlock, and he's actually done this before. I remember I did a video on it before. It's where he was cutting his dreads, and then I'm assuming later on he installed them again. But we've seen that he did it recently. There's no really proof on him doing it before, but we do see that he actually did this recently. So it almost gives hope to people, like, if they want to cut their hair shorter and then they might not like it after cutting it, you can reinstall it all the time. I'm starting this new concept of answering you guys' questions in these dreadlock reviews. I'm going to be answering one question from you guys in each video, and then I'll dedicate some videos to just answering all your guys' questions. So don't be afraid to DM me at DREADLOCks on Instagram, and I'll definitely be answering any questions you guys have about your dreadlocks. I also wanted to mention that the Great merch just launched for season 3, and I want you guys to go check the stuff out. I'm gonna leave a link to that in the description. For those of you who are wondering what Great merch is, it's basically a way to not only support the channel, but to support a movement of being great. And that's the whole goal of this new merch that I just released. So make sure to go check that out with the link in the description and find some stuff that you guys like. But let's check out Lil Pump's dreadlocks. So we see that now he does have the green dreadlocks. And he's had his hair like this before, but he's been through so many colors. We all remember Lil Pump when he had the pink and blonde dreadlocks. And then when he changed it, things got a little different. He went to the red and green, and eventually to, I think, purple, and then all the way blonde, and then red, and then all the way blonde again. He got to like a platinum blonde at one point, and then now we see him with the green dreadlocks. Now, one thing that we mentioned early on, and I think it was one of my first videos on Lil Pump, is that he probably had fake dreadlocks, and eventually put that thought aside and found out that he had real dreadlocks just based on the looks of things and by what people said. But then recently found out that he cut his hair and then reattached his hair. So this concept really does make me think, was his hair real to begin with? Now, looking back to when he originally started his dreadlocks, when they were, I think, braids, and then he had rubber bands at the ends, and eventually turned those into dreadlocks, but I'm sure he did that with crochet hooking and everything like that. But it really makes you think, how did his dreadlocks end up this way? And how did they end up so thick in the very beginning? You know, it could have been added in hair, but then again, it could have just been his own hair. But scratch all the stuff in the beginning. What we see Lil Pump doing now, which is the fact that he cut some of his dreadlocks off and then reattached them. I remember seeing on his Instagram not too long ago that he was cutting his dreads. So a lot of people thought he was cutting off all of his dreadlocks. But then we seen shortly after that he actually reattached them, and cutting his dreadlocks was not the case. But it is an interesting way to maintain dreadlocks, is the way that he's doing it. We've seen Young Thug do this, we've seen Smoke Perp do this, and we see Lil Pump doing this. And I'm sure there's so many other people out there that are actually doing this. And I wouldn't really call this maintenance or a method. It's just a way for people to keep their dreadlocks. Now, would I recommend you doing this? No, because this weakens your dreadlocks and it doesn't allow them to mature properly as a whole. Now, the thing is, you can look at this as if you were installing synthetic dreadlocks into your actual hair. So it is that same concept, but your hair isn't growing as a whole. It's going to be almost two different textures. But this is personal preference, and to be honest, if you were to cut your dreadlocks and say you wanted them back, you can reattach them. So when and if you cut your dreadlocks, it's not the end of your dreadlocks. And we've seen that with Young Thug, Smoke Perp, and Lil Pump. Is this the future of dreadlocks? It possibly could be the future of dreadlocks as far as the style of things. I definitely wouldn't say this is the future of dreadlocks for the people that do dreadlocks for a meaning, because of way of life or religion or culture. I don't see that happening in that side of dreadlocks, but as far as the style of dreadlocks, I feel like people can eventually start doing this more often. Because one thing you'll notice about Lil Pump's hair is that all of his dreadlocks are different lengths. And I'm pretty sure this is intentional based on how his hair looks, that the dreadlocks in the back of his head are shorter than the ones in the front. And one thing that I've mentioned before, it's really interesting how in some pictures Lil Pump's dreadlocks are longer than in other pictures. Like when we see him do double braids or do any braids whatsoever, we've all seen pictures of him with longer dreadlocks than before. And of course, we all know that dreadlocks will grow and they'll be longer at one point than before. But we've seen Lil Pump have short dreadlocks, long dreadlocks, and then back to short dreadlocks. And it's all because of cutting and reinstalling. Now, would you really consider this fake dreadlocks? Not necessarily. But can we call this a traditional method to dreadlocks? No. I definitely wouldn't say that this is a healthy option for maintaining your dreadlocks, but I would say in the worst case scenario, you cut your dreadlocks off and you want to reinstall them, then it's a perfect opportunity for you to do that. Because I know a lot of people out there will cut their dreadlocks and they keep them. So it's a perfect way to reinstall them. But you guys, comment down below what you guys think about that. I just wanted to take a second out of this video to mention the DREADLOCK website. Just go to DREADLOCKS.com and it has everything you need when it comes to dreadlock products or even hair products in general. And also there's a page on there to where you can see dreadlock tutorials. So it has everything on there from starting your dreadlocks to finishing them to maintaining them to literally anything you need to do with your hair. So I'd recommend you all to go check out DREADLOCKS.com and find yourself some products. And the product of the day that I want to mention for you guys is a crochet needle. This is a #1 product that I would recommend anybody with or without dreadlocks who plans on getting them or maintaining them. A crochet needle is meant for pulling in frizz, loose hair, maturing your dreadlocks instantly, getting instant dreadlocks, and so many other things. A crochet needle will literally save your dreadlocks at some points. And as far as the context of this video, when it comes to Lil Pump reattaching his dreadlocks, they have to use a crochet needle. You can sew in this hair as well, but a crochet needle will be your best bet for getting a natural look. And I can guarantee you, every single person with dreadlocks that you've seen who is a celebrity that doesn't have freeform dreadlocks most likely used a crochet needle to maintain or start their dreadlocks. Lil Pump for sure, Lil Skies, Smoke Perp, anybody with straight hair, that is definitely necessary if you want to get a maintained look. Crochet needle is your best bet for anything when it comes to a product for your hair. So that is the product of the day. Now I want to get to the question of the day. And he says, first, I just want to say I watch all your vids and you inspired me to get dreads, but I need your help. I'm only 2 months in and my loctician said that I will have to cut my dreads due to buildup. How do I get rid of the buildup? Thanks. So with your loctician saying you have to cut your dreads, first off, nobody has to cut their dreads. Now when it does come to buildup, there's one easy way to deal with buildup. Now buildup isn't an easy situation to take care of, but there is one way to take care of it, and that is to use dish soap. And different countries have different dish soaps. I'm in America. If you're in America, I would definitely recommend Dawn dish soap just because it works great. I've used it on myself with my first set of dreadlocks and it really just takes out all of that buildup out of your dreads. Because what it essentially does is it pulls all of the oils and buildup out of your dreadlock and pulls it into the soap. Then once you rinse out the soap, if you squeeze it all out, all that buildup's gonna come out. Now, if you wanna take it a step further and get rid of buildup, the buildup completely, because let's face it, with dreadlocks, there's gonna be minimal buildup. And at the same time, the whole time with dreadlocks, all you're doing is maintaining all that buildup and making sure that you don't get a whole bunch. But to take it a step further, I would definitely recommend combing out a dreadlock in order to get rid of that buildup and then reinstalling that dreadlock. Now, I wouldn't recommend combing out all of your dreadlocks and restarting them, even though that is an option, but I would say comb out a dreadlock, get rid of the buildup, and then restart the dreadlock with a crochet needle, which I mentioned earlier. And that is taking it to the next level, but I'm telling you, that is the best possible way you're gonna get rid of buildup. But hopefully that does answer your question. Don't go cutting your dreadlocks. Also, for all of you guys out there, make sure to DM DREADLOCKS or tag DREADLOCKS on Instagram to be featured on the channel, the page, and the website. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up?
Give a shout out to somebody, man.
I shout out my mom to let me be in track and cross country. Yeah.
It's nice meeting you, bro.